When we think of weight loss, we often think about what we eat and how we exercise, but what is equally important is learning to develop lifestyle skills to help you manage your thoughts and behaviors associated with food. Joining us with more is clinical psychologist Dr. Tim Hope. Dr. Hope, this is a really important thing to talk about because we could get that gym membership, but if we don't go and don't think the right way, we're not going to lose the weight or live a healthier lifestyle.
That's right. So 2/3 of us in the United States are overweight. This is an issue that touches all of our lives, us personally, people we know, people we love, and weight is a challenging issue. There are a few of us who can just manage our weight through making a few changes with food or doing more exercise, but the majority of us find that to be a challenge. And so that's why psychologists have been focusing on trying to help people be successful.
How can a psychologist help someone lose weight?
Yeah, so one of the effective strategies that a psychologist will use is a real good assessment of that person's lifestyle, of their history, of what things they've tried and where they've not been successful, but what things they have tried that have been successful. And then work with them to develop a treatment plan around making their goals, making their lifestyle to be more healthy.
So what is a treatment plan like? I mean, I know every individual is an individual, but what would an example be?
Yeah, so an individualized treatment plan would focus on that particular person. What is a reasonable goal that they'd like to achieve? Where are they at? A good assessment of what they're having now, what are their skills, what are their deficits, what are behaviors that they have that might be getting in the way, and then work with them to incrementally increase skills, increase behaviors that are helpful, decrease behaviors that are getting in the way, set people up to be successful.
Now we've heard the phrase mind over matter, so that's what it really is all about. Make sure that you know exactly what you need to do and the habits you need to change. Let's talk about changing your eating habits. Now you have some tips for people. The first is to monitor your behaviors.
One of the things that we've noticed is just by assessing what we're doing, write down what you do. A log of what you have to eat each meal, what you have to snack on throughout the day, that leads to behavior change just by monitoring. And so that might be a very good first step to take, because then you'll know, well, what am I actually eating? And already you're starting the process of behavior change.
So behavior is important, but also your activity level. How much are you moving around?
So logging your activity level is also really important, because what we know is our lifestyles have changed very much over the past, say, 100 or 150 years. We used to be agrarian, we used to be working out in the fields. We're not now. The vast majority of us are sitting for the vast majority of the day, and our bodies just weren't built to be able to do that. So getting a good assessment of what activity we're getting now and then how to gently and slowly increase that activity level can lead to real significant changes.
And also eating regular meals, making sure that you are paying attention to that and not just snacking all the time.
Yeah, this is one of those conundrums. So eating 3 square meals a day and actually having a planful snack or a couple of snacks increases your rate of metabolism and makes it easier for you to lose weight. It's one of those paradoxes that we find. So many of us, I hear about people skipping their breakfast or skipping lunch and then having a big meal for dinner. Well, that actually slows down your metabolism. Your body thinks that it's in starvation mode, so it's more likely to keep those calories and keep on the weight. It makes it harder to lose weight.
Right, so this is also how psychology can help too, knowing exactly how to make the right choices and schedule your day around mindful eating. And you also, the next tip, is practicing mindful eating on a daily basis.
So much of what we do in our society now encourages us to be mindless. We're multitasking, we're doing many things at one time, but really if we focus on what are we experiencing right now? Am I actually hungry right now? Okay, and if I am hungry, what am I hungry for? If we listen to our internal cues, we're much more likely to eat what we need and eat only what we need. And if we then pay attention to what we're eating, we're more likely to enjoy that experience and eat only what it is that we need until we're satisfied.
Right, now really focusing in on the psychology of food is understanding what things you associate with food.
So very often we get into patterns around eating. So I always grab a bag of chips when I'm watching a basketball game. Well, that's an association that we've built. So whenever the TV is on and a basketball game is on, you might notice, geez, I'm hungry for a bag of chips. If we can separate that association and only eat food that we're hungry for when we're hungry, and then enjoy the basketball game in other ways, then we're more likely to have better control over that eating behavior.
Right, so being aware of it and taking note and making it, so that you can make better decisions, smarter decisions. Emotional eating too, and this is also how therapy can help, understanding when you're eating and what you're eating depending on your emotions.
Right, so one of the things you might notice in logging and tracking what you eat, when you eat, where you're eating, why you're eating, is that you might notice, well, geez, when I'm anxious, I tend to snack. Or when I'm really stressed out, I tend to grab that bag of pretzels. So if we find that food is really very powerful for us, food does help us to feel better, especially the carbs, the sweets. They really do make us feel better. And so if we can separate out food as being a salve for our feelings that we're having, and instead do other effective changes for those feelings, then we're much more likely to be effective in taking care of our behaviors and our feelings, and we're more likely to be able to have good control over our diet.
Right, and it doesn't help that there's all these TV shows that are all about cooking, all about food, all about the marketing of, the presentation. So it's being aware and making sure that you think about it. Your last tip is to modify your unhealthy thoughts and behaviors. So change the way that we think.
Yeah, we often have black and white thinking. Oh, geez, I had a few Oreos. I might as well finish the bag because I've already broken my diet. Or, geez, I've now gotten off the daily schedule of exercising, so I'm just not going to exercise anymore. We really need to help challenge those thoughts, those ways of thinking, and then look at ourselves as, okay, so I had a slip today, I'll make sure to get back to it by dinner time. Or, geez, I didn't get to the gym today, but I'll get back there tomorrow. No problem.
So it's all about staying positive, making sure that you know your goals, and after all, it's not about losing weight, but maintaining a healthy weight so we can live a long, happy life.
That's right.
Thanks so
Be
much,
well.
Dr. Hope. Nice
You're
to have
welcome.
you here, as always.
Thank
For
you.
all of his tips, Dr. Hope's tips, you can visit us online, mymassappeal.com later today.